On this week's episode, the next generation of video game consoles is finally here. Could Call of Duty Cold War get a cold reception? And Wandavision sets a date for Disney+. All this and more as we reach our next stop, the PCC Multiverse. And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. This is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, the Lakers Fast Break, and Inside Sports Fantasy Football. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our shows, and if you can, please give us that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, and hopefully in the not-too-distant future, throw out some of those Facebook gaming stars at us. That would be truly appreciated. Want to give everybody a quick update of what's going on. I've got a ton of shows that are out there right now that I've recorded and interviews this week, all that. Go ahead and check out what's going on at the Lakers Fast Break channel. 3, maybe even 4 shows done by the end of the week. So you got a lot of great shows there, including Rafael Barlow from the NBA Draft Junkies. Also did a championship roundtable that was really quite good as well. And then, of course, my thing that I think that I put out that I'm really, really proud of is that it's the retrospective of the Lakers championship season is part 1, covering the first few months of the NBA season for the Los Angeles Lakers. It's in conversations with some of the best ones I had in the early days of the actual Lakers Fast Break show itself. So you want to check that out. It's all on the Lakers Fast Break channel. Chris and Dom Lardieri from Domination Sports Nation. We covered the latest info on fantasy football at Inside Sports Fantasy Football. And of course, we not only have the Pop Culture Cosmos you can check out with Josh and I, and a ton of great stuff there, but also this week, my co-host for today, and almost every Friday when he can make it, when he's not out hunting somewhere in the Midwest, he was on with his thoughts on the Call of Duty series, Call of Duty Cold War. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. He did a Game Source profile of that, and that dropped on Wednesday. So check that out right now on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel as well. But everyone out there, he is back indeed. It is the man from Castle FPV on Instagram. Follow Castle FPV, Castle with a K, FPV on Instagram. It is a good man indeed. It is the legend returning back after hunting, like I said, somewhere in the Midwest. It is Marcus de la Garza. Marcus, great to have you back, my friend. And a big thank you to Noe and Fine, who will actually be here later on the program as well.
And big thank you to him. And I'm just so happy to be back again with you. It was a great time being out in the out in Montana, actually, not even the Midwest. I was out in Montana. Yeah, man. It was a good time. Was able to secure some meat for my family for the foreseeable future, at least for the next year and a half almost. And we'll go from there, man. It was a great time. I look forward to breaking it down with you later at a different date.
Hunting on the Pop Culture Cosmos. I'm not sure how well that will go over, but you know what? You never know right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos.
We can always do it off air, you know.
Yes, we could always do it off air. There you go. Yeah. But the PCC Multiverse is really hot today because the week is finally here. They're out in the wild. They're not floating out there too much in the wild too long because people are snapping them up. They're putting them on eBay like crazy. They're trying to get as much as $1,000 or more on them. They are the Xbox Series S, the Xbox Series X, and the PlayStation 5. All 3 units came out this week. We've got not one, but 2 great interviews covering both those launches, which includes Kevin Ainsworth from Project X Talk, and also George Thomas from Rebel Base Karaoke and Rebel Base on Twitch. So please, if you get a chance, catch the Project X Talk podcast and also Rebel Base on Twitch. George Thomas and Kevin Ainsworth, they're coming up later in the program to talk about the opening for each, because one's a PlayStation fan and one is an Xbox fan. So you want to go ahead and hear their talks coming up in a bit. Plus, I did say Noah Ian Fine is coming back. He's coming back to go ahead and tell us his thoughts on Yakuza Like a Dragon later on in the program as well. We're also talking about when does WandaVision drop? Well, we finally know. Marvel has told us they actually finished and wrapped up shooting on the series last week. So this week they did announce when that's going to drop. So we'll tell you later on in the program. Call of Duty Cold War. We not only did a Game Source profile this week of it, but I want to ask Marcus real quick a question on it coming up here in a few minutes. And that is, so I'm going to let him put this in the brain here for a second. Let him think about this one. Why didn't the reviews drop already on Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War? We'll talk about that coming up in a sec as well. And then on the back end, we'll close out the show talking about some British dramas that are really getting everybody excited on Netflix in The Queen's Gambit and The Crown. Why are people getting so excited? We'll talk about that at the back end of the show as well. But first, my friend, it is the Xbox Series X. If I could spell that correctly on the screen there, but I didn't.
Ooh.
Xbox Series X, typo, and PlayStation 5 debuted this week. A lot of great things they're talking about. I mean, the only thing that's really bad about it is the fact that because there is such a limited amount of consoles for not just one, not just two, but all four of the units involved, both PlayStation 5s, the Xbox Series S, and the Xbox Series X, there is a major issue as far as people trying to get their hands on one. And as I think you're going about to tell me, you just can't do it right now.
Yeah, I can't, man. It's we talked about my strategy before this, before today, and it was.
Well, Josh had his failed strategy too. He is angry and he's hot, and he's going to tell you why on the Monday show.
And he should, but I mean, this is crazy, man. I've never seen a console release like this before. I'm really looking forward to finally getting my hands on one, whenever that is. It might not be until March of 2021 at this point, but it'll be worth a wait for me. And I do want to say that I think that we're starting to get some early reviews on console versus console here. Have you taken the time to look at anything yet?
I have indeed. It shows most of the reviews showing that PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series, depending on how you want to see it and how you want to view it, are running somewhat neck and neck, because the PlayStation 5, while it doesn't have the overall horsepower under the hood like the Xbox does, it does have a faster SSD. And it does have some benefits to it. The controller people are raving about. They've really had a great experience with the DualSense on it. So they're actually going ahead and keeping praise on it. With the Xbox Series, it's all about the power, the draw distance, everything that comes up as far as the speed, the loading times, but mainly, like I said, the graphical power of it. And when you compare apples to apples, like let's say something that I know you're very interested in that you talked about on a previous Game Source profile, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That game right now, it looks great on both, but the draw distances and the ray tracing and everything, all that, as far as where the sun comes out and pokes over the trees, and as far as the sunsets and the clouds, the things of nature, everything as far as the distance, the facials, everything as far as even up close as well. It's a little bit better on the Xbox right now.
I feel like you're just rubbing my face in it, Gerald.
I'm just telling you. You asked me a question. I did. I'm telling you what I'm able to ascertain from the reviews. That's a general consensus. It's not anything specific, but you asked me to investigate it. I did. And I'm seeing the side-by-sides, and that's what I'm able to determine, that both are really standouts over what there's currently at with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Even the PS4 Pro doesn't stand up to the PS5, but the PS5 has its benefits, but still the Xbox One, if you're talking about total graphical power, has the nod at this point in time.
Oh, absolutely. And, I'm feeling a little bit salty right now just because, I've spent so many weeks now, almost a month and a half, talking about how the PS5 was going to be superior here. And it's, I feel like I just, really put up a goose egg here. Looking at some of the comparison videos early on, or not early on, even just today, looking at things, I got to watch a head-to-head for Devil May Cry 5. And this was a kind of an eye-opening experience. The Xbox Series X had the edge the entire way through on the frame rate. There was a few times with the ray tracing turned to quality over performance that we saw that really big leap, by the PS5. But, one of the big things that two of the reviewers I was listening to earlier were talking about was the familiarity for the devs. You've got PS4 devs that have jumped to PS5 games that are using a lot of the same tools that they used while they were developing for PS4 games. And for some reason, and I didn't really look into it, I didn't have the time for it, but it seems like the Xbox devs are using an entirely new tool set, and it kind of begs the question: how long until they start to optimize and start to be really efficient using that tool set and just blow the PS5 out of the water? We know it's got the raw. The Xbox Series X has the raw power advantage. I mean, you just mentioned it. So it really comes down to how long until the talent starts really optimizing for the hardware.
Well, I'm just going to say this. Let's give the PlayStation 5 some love too, because the fact that it is leaps and bounds over what we've seen with the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro. And if you've got a television to support it, 4K, HDR, whole 9 yards, then you're going to really see a drastic improvement over what you saw previously. And then it comes all down to the games, where the PlayStation 5 really has an advantage at this point in time, because it actually has games that are specific for it, whereas the Xbox only has what's available on the Xbox Games Pass. It's like a catch-22, my friend. I don't think you can go wrong either which way at this point in time. Most people, if they're really a hardcore gaming fan, you're going to own both at some point in time in the life cycle. Yep. I'm looking again to the left, and I see all three of them, the current generation, that are right there. So this next generation, which is now here, it doesn't matter which one you end up getting first. You'll most likely get both at some point in time.
Well, and all right, so here's what I'm really starting to wonder is the PlayStation 5 really becoming the social platform, social and entertainment platform, whereas the Xbox is really geared more towards gamers nowadays?
Well, man, remember, you'll hear this upcoming, my thoughts as well with both Kevin and also as well George coming up, that it's not about the actual system. It's about the Games Pass with Xbox, being able to go ahead and play it on your mobile, being able to play it on your PC, it's about the idea and concept of them becoming the video game version of Netflix, and about you subscribing, subscriptions. That's what they're really keying in on most. So basically right now if you buy an Xbox, you're going off of faith that the Xbox Games Pass and also the entire list of now devs that now are under the Xbox wing will actually go ahead and produce a lot of games that'll be commensurate to what you're seeing on the PlayStation. But again, let's not sell PlayStation short, but I want to hear your final thoughts initially. I know you want to get your hands on one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm still going to grab a PlayStation 5 at the end of the day. This is something that, it's just baked into my blood at this point. I owned a PS2, I owned a PS3, I owned a PS4, I had Xboxes in the interim as well. And I think my brain just works really well with PlayStations. And so, it's something that it's just baked into my DNA at this point, and I'll probably end up grabbing a PlayStation 5. But like you were talking about, over the life cycle of these consoles, depending on how intense I get back into gaming, this might be just one of two consoles I own.
There you go. Indeed. If you have any thoughts or questions on the Xbox Series or the PlayStation 5, the latest generation of gaming is now here. Share us your thoughts, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, my friend, before we head to the break, and George Thomas from Rebel Base talking about the PlayStation 5, and then right after that, you're going to hear from Kevin Ainsworth from Project X Talk and Knowing and Fine on Yakuza. I want to ask you this, my friend. Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War. Gotta get rid of that Black Ops.
Oh my God.
It'll drop by the time people hear this on the radio and also as well on podcast formats. It's already going to be dropping.
Yep.
And it's already be out and available in the wild. But there's no advanced reviews for it, which is kind of strange.
Yeah.
Usually now lately, I have to say there's been at least a couple titles that have come out and the reviews dropped the same day as the games itself, and the reviews have been pretty good. But for the most part, if you follow video game tradition, it's usually not a very good sign, and it's a very telling sign that there's something wrong there. I mean, are you still kind of nervous about that? But I know you're going to be picking up here over the weekend or the next few days. Your thoughts on Call of Duty Cold War, and could this be a sign that it may not be everything that we want it to be?
I sometimes I'm not all the way in the know on the press side of things when it comes to the embargoes. And so I really didn't know we had an embargo going for this game up until tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time, actually 40 minutes ago now. So, some of the early reviews were coming out as we were coming on air. Just had a quick just a brief look through a couple of the PS4 reviews. This is weird, man. I'm not expecting the world anymore. Based on the teaser trailers that we saw, I was really excited for this game. I'm a little bit wary now. I'm really going to sit back and kind of wait for these reviews to come out. I'm still going to buy it. I'm going to do that. And we've been talking about this too much. I need to play the zombie. I need to play the zombies, Gerald.
Well, that's the thing, because it's not dropping until the last minute. It's going to be dropping by the time people hear this. Their order will have dropped, most of them. But
right.
for a game, a high profile like this, and you don't have the reviews in advance,
it scares me.
It scares a lot of people out there. I mean, as you're saying, they're only dropping right now. Metacritic only has one listed already. One out of what, maybe it's 70, 80, 90, 100 that might actually end up being on there when it's all said and done. Whereas with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they at least had a couple days ahead of time, a couple days to look at it. Pretty solid reviews for it, so a lot of people are enjoying it. I'm just saying right now, if you just be nervous, but I think overall, Call of Duty, it's not something that you can really mess up and be totally bad. It could be something where, okay, maybe they just don't have and put enough into it to make it different from the other versions. That's what scares me, because there has been iterations in the series that have done that. But even then, you're still talking like a solid 6 or 7 game that you can still go and play. You know what to do. It's the fact that Cold War is getting a higher level of interest. So I'm thinking that's also getting a higher level of concern.
Yeah, I just really hope they didn't phone it in at the end of the day. We've had such hype for this game, and bringing it back to the franchise, I really don't want to watch that evaporate overnight. That's my concern.
Well, that's my concern as well. And are you concerned out there about the not too much in advance reviews for Call of Duty Cold War, which are dropping right around now as we're speaking, and are basically, by the time you will see this, or actually by the time you will hear this, you'll actually have reviews on it. But usually that's not a great sign that they drop just before the game is released. That's not the best sign in the world. So are you concerned about the reviews for Call of Duty Cold War? Share us your thoughts, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, quickly, my friend, before we go ahead to the break, wanted to go ahead and hit you up. And on this, Disney Plus finally announced a date for Wandavision, and that's going to be on one of my daughter's birthday. That is January 15th. So I want to hear your thoughts on this, my friend. It was rumored that it was going to be in December, even when it was the second Marvel series in line, and then became the first series because Falcon and the Winter Soldier was pushed back. It's now the first leading Marvel series, but it's not coming until 2021. Are you surprised?
Not at all. I mean, this year's been the year of push timelines, right? We've done nothing but talk about push timelines. So, pushing from December back to January 15th, I'm okay with that, as long as this is the end. Kevin Feige's really pushed for Marvel taking over Disney Plus to a certain extent. They want this to kind of be an essential line of entertainment for the Marvel fans. And so, the sooner we can get this rolling, the better off we all are. And I think if we can get WandaVision rolling on January 15th, we've got a lot of time between now and then. But if we can get there, we're good, man. I'm excited for this. I don't know how you're feeling about it, but I'm okay with one more push timeline, especially in the grand scheme of Cyberpunk 2077 pushing theirs. I know that we're going, TV to games, but push timelines are just everywhere right now. It's terrible. It
is terrible. And, as you and I both know, Cyberpunk 2077 was pushed back to December, and we'll do a Game Source profile on that before all is said and done here on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel. But it is something that, again, you finally have a date. Is it a little bit later than what we wanted? Of course it is. But we finally have a date. They finally have it mapped out where they want to go. It looks like it's pretty solid. So January 15th, WandaVision will debut on Disney+. I'm excited to get back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe because you have to watch it, because WandaVision, the events in it, will lead it back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So please, if you get a chance, you got to check it out in January, mid-January, on the 15th, January, right there, WandaVision. it's going to be available. And I'm excited because once again, we can start talking about Marvel on a week-to-week basis once again. What are your thoughts out there on WandaVision coming to Disney Plus on the 15th of January? Share us your thoughts, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, coming up next, it's George Thomas from Rebel Base on Twitch and Rebel Base Karaoke. He's going to be talking to PlayStation 5. Right after that, it's Kevin Ainsworth from the great podcast on Xbox, Project X Talk. He's going to be talking about the Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X available that just came out this week as well. And then Noah Ian Fine will be right after that reviewing Yakuza Like a Dragon. He'll share his thoughts on that. And then on the back end, Marcus de la Garza and I will be talking some British drama. The governor. Oh, that's bad. I think I just lost all of our stations in the UK because of that. But
oh man, I'm not even going to try. I'm not.
Yes, but we'll be doing some we'll be doing some British dramas coming up at the back end of the show. This is the PCC Multiverse. It was that bad, huh?
No, dude, that's amazing. I love it.
All right. And we're back with the show. He's still laughing. He's been laughing through the entire interviews. It is Marcus de la Garza that we did. He's been laughing at my British accent, or my horrible British accent. I guess as they say, the way a Yank would do it was pretty bad. But I do want to thank everybody for tuning into the show, and want to thank so much George Thomas from Rebel Base Karaoke. If you want to check him out, please go check him out when you're here in Las Vegas, and also as well Rebel Base on Twitch with him and his son. Please check it out. And also Kevin Ainsworth from Project X Talk. You want to go ahead and check out an Xbox podcast for you. It's right there for you at Project X Talk, wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, Noe Ian Fine at Honeyqueen. I know he'll be back on very soon as well. Well, my friend, before we head on out, The Queen's Gambit and The Crown on Netflix. That wasn't too bad right there.
No, that was great. That was great, man.
I want to ask you this, my friend. They are, especially with The Queen's Gambit, which is a really just some wild stuff going on, where she's a super spy, seemingly. She's a chess master. She's a super intelligent. She's rocking the house. And I'll tell you what, she is just messing things all up, and people are loving it on Netflix. In fact, it's I think the most popular show according to their numbers, or whatever you can read, because don't know their specific numbers, but according to what you see as far as the most popular, it's been the most popular show on Netflix for the past 2 weeks. And The Crown, which has all these great British actors from you look at the lineup on it, it's just amazing. And all of them love it when they say, you know what, hey, do you want to play royal? And they all just jumped at it. Yeah. Because that's what we're seeing. It's a current royal situation because everybody seems to have a fascination with the royals, even here in the States. So it's amazing. But The Crown is available now on Netflix, and a lot of people are really getting into it. But I want to hear your thoughts before we head on out, my friend. Why are these two shows just getting over so well? I mean, I know a lot of people here in the States have enjoyed British dramas before, Downton Abbey and so many others, but man, these two shows are really going off on Netflix.
Being out in the middle of nowhere for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, it's been a little bit of a rough experience not being able to tap into Netflix. Where I was at, I really had no service. I was driving into town once a day to go get cell phone service. So I've missed out on the Queen's Gambit hype, but we're getting caught up this week. I'm really excited to keep pushing through some of these episodes. I really didn't see this being as great as it was going to be, and it looks like I really underestimated this title.
She's a morphine addict and all this other stuff that's going on. I'm like, wow, that's just one heck of a story going on right there. And people are going crazy over it on social media. And that is The Queen's Gambit. And that is really, really popular right now. And The Crown is not too far behind. And just tell you what, my friend, it just shows you the fascination that we over here in the States have an appreciation for when it comes to great British dramas. And it seems like it's going to be just that for a little while longer with The Queen's Gambit and The Crown on Netflix.
Absolutely. The Crown is becoming a quick favorite in this household. We blew through the first 3 seasons. Really looking forward to season 4 here.
What are your thoughts out there on The Crown and The Queen's Gambit on Netflix? Share us your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. And please, no comments on how bad my British accent is. I know it. I know it's horrible. I know it's horrible. And my apologies once again to everyone out there in the UK. I've got much love for you and appreciate all the stations out there that play us, and cannot thank you enough for doing so. And please don't tell us not to go ahead and send any more shows out there, because we truly appreciate playing them out there. Please, just go ahead and show some love out there. And you can laugh at me all you want, because I get laughed at all the time right here on the show. But again, that was my poor attempt at British accent, but I want to thank everyone for enduring it on today's program.
Man, I was going to say, I hope everybody gets a kick out of my Southern accent at times. So, everybody have a good laugh at it. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go indeed. But a shout out to Bill Leonard. His name is Marcus de la Garza. Just want to give you a heads up. I know you always send in, what's the guy's name? And I write it to you. Marcus de la Garza. Want to give you a heads up, my friend, on that. And I cannot thank you enough for all the letters that you write us. We truly appreciate it. We do read them. And of course, I always send you out a shout out back. So Bill, I just truly appreciate it. You cannot thank you enough for being a part of what we see here and what we do here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But my friend, Mr. Marcus de la Garza, it's been great having you on the show once again, back in the big chair. Looking for a time that we're going to all spend together, and hopefully a lot of guests as well, at Indie Pods United, which you need to check out if you like podcasts or you want to make one, or you do have one. Best place to go is later this month, end of this month, 5 days, starting the 29th, just $10, just $2 a day. Go ahead, sign up today at indiepodsunited.com. We're going to be part of it on the 29th, right around, I think, noon Eastern time is what I think it is. I'll give everybody the update on that. But are you excited to be now a part of Indie Pods United?
Absolutely, man. This is going to be a great time. I am really looking forward to this. I think you said we got a 30-minute show, and yep. I'm happy to just talk to people, man. It's one of my favorite things to do.
All right, my friend, it's been a great episode. I cannot thank you enough for being part of it, but any last thoughts on the way out? And I'm sure it's going to be something to do with the PlayStation 5 and not my British accent.
Yeah, no, it's I will say I kind of disparaged the PS5 a little bit hard there today, but I do want to say that the early reviews are not shouldn't always be solid. Yeah. I don't want to say like I railed too hard on the PS5 and they shouldn't be wholly trusted, but I'm happy about it, and we'll see if I can get my hands on a console, and if I do, you guys are all going to hear about it firsthand, and I'm going to blow your eardrums out for weeks to come.
Well, Josh on Monday may blow your eardrums out with his angst in regards to a lot of things that he wants to talk about the situation with the Xbox Series and not being able to get one. So he's going to go on his soapbox then. Plus, we're also going to be having a interview with actress Shannon Wilson as part of the show. So we're looking forward to her coming on the show to talk about all the projects that she's doing. I actually interrupted her while she was on the set of a Netflix show, speaking of Netflix. So we'll talk about that as part of our interview. And then, of course, Ben Arnault from Smoking Hot Confessions is going to drop a quick recipe, barbecue style, for us as well, coming up on the program. So look for it on Monday, and even some Black Friday tips. Got to go ahead, another Black Friday ad we'll cover. Yeah. And you know what? I've been leaving you out of this because you haven't been able to you've been out hunting and all that. So you know what? Next Friday, we'll go ahead and cover some Black Friday tips for everyone out there as well.
Yes. I'm in on that.
Yes. And all in on that myself as well. So for Marcus de la Garza, this is Jared Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the PCC Multiverse. We thank you for listening, especially to my really bad British accent. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day.